Good, thank you. So, hello, and I hope you had nice introductions this morning. I am Laure, so Head of European Affairs in MINALOGIC, a global innovation cluster for digital technologies. We are based in France, Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, and we are part in the SmartEEs project and here to support you SmartEEs grantees, let's say, with additional opportunities for public funding. So if you have questions, so I have a couple of slides presenting, let's say, the general landscape. I won't go into details in every programs, but if you have questions, I don't know, Johan, if we can dedicate some minutes in the end for that, or
sure, yeah.
Otherwise, I will meet some of you this afternoon to go a bit deeper into some opportunities if you spot some of them. So, well, European funding, you are here because you know a bit about it, but for us, it represents a lot of benefits because it's going beyond, let's say, your usual network, and it's about exploring new technologies and new products, mainly in collaborations, because European funding for, let's say, 90% funds European, let's say, a collaborative research and development. It can help you reinforce, of course, your strategy, getting strategic public funding. A very good aspect in European funding is that it doesn't, how do you say that? You don't need to have, let's say, internal capital or very strong capital to get funding by the Euro Commission, like it could be in some national laws and for some national funding. Then, of course, going into cooperation, and at EU level, it can help you structure your projects. It can support and reinforce your strategic roadmap. Acting at EU level, it increases your legitimacy and visibility, of course, and can help you access new markets, international customers, and reinforce your partner network. These are quite standards, but I wanted to recap this. Why is it attractive? Because the amount of grants can't be high, but it can also be quite small and quite aligned with your strategy if it comes to developing a demonstrator, like it is the case in SmartEEs. So in the past, it was for financing big European collaborative projects. Now we see that it can also be strategic and interesting to fund more small and very concrete partnerships to develop the demonstrator. It is a structured process. You need to understand and speak a bit the EU language. This is the, let's say, more negative aspects. But if you understand very well the processes, it is very well structured, and you can, I would say, well, comparing to France or comparing maybe sometimes to private sources, it is quite structured. Well, a lot of companies or public administrations and supporters have been created to support you. There's a lot of support in this. Okay, some more minor or disadvantages or shortages? Well, you compete at international level, so of course success rate is then higher, but compared to the really strong opportunities, it's worth it. So success rate ranges from 3 to sometimes 30%, or you could have also for certain calls 100% success rate if you're well, let's say, identified and included in strategic communities, European communities. It can be seen as technocratic, but to me, it's not that bad, because it also means that it is well structured, so it can the other way around be positive. Regulated, again, it's not a big problem, because we need also regulation to have innovation, let's say, as open as possible. European funding mechanisms really push for open science, so it can also maybe sometimes for industrials be difficult. But yeah, I mentioned it is very well structured. You have here Blumorpho and MINALOGIC, for example, as support organizations here, but there are really multiply support opportunities for you, being clusters, digital innovation hubs. You might have heard of this. These are technical and, let's say, not technical support in your regions, supporting you in developing and integrating digital technologies into your roadmaps, products, processes. Chambers of commerce in some countries are very strong, business accelerators, consultants, research organizations and research centers are, like you can see also in SmartEEs, very great support in helping you accessing EU funding, and all have a clear understanding of what the European landscape opportunities for your research are. European budget is a huge and a bunch of money that you won't never see at your regional or national level, so it's really a lot for, if you see here number one, which concentrates the most of the budget for innovation, digital and let's say single market is for industrial competitiveness. It's 143 billion euro from this year until 2027. The major, let's say, programs, I actually forgot there is another one, a new one that was created this summer that might interested some of you, is the digital health, the health program that was created after the COVID-19 crisis. But mainly you have otherwise very well known and for a long time already here, Horizon Europe. That is a successor of Horizon 2020, so that's the major program funding for research and innovation in the civil domain, yeah, for all topics. Then you have Invest EU, which is a program that funds, that proposes, let's say, bank products for supporting your innovation. Then the single market program supports some measures for the SMEs to get support into their regulation and market access opportunities within Europe, but also outside Europe. And the European Defence Fund is was also created this year to fund research and innovation in the defense and military application only. At regional level, not forget also ERDF that can also support your innovation projects. European Social Fund, it's less relevant, and Interreg that supports the interregional collaboration in terms of innovation as well. So here you should more partner with regional entities. It's maybe also less relevant here, but you know that they are here existing. And on the Brussels column, I forgot, but I have a dedicated slide on that, on the newly created program for health. Here, four, let's say, keywords for you to take along are green transition, Green Deal, digital transformation and competitiveness, resilience are, let's say, the major keywords of the industrial European strategy and of the European strategy as a whole. So it's here just for you to think about. I will introduce you a bit more in details into these three programs. So Horizon Europe being the major program for innovation and research. EIC Accelerator is an instrument dedicated to startup and SMEs that have let's say, the potential to grow internationally and to access quite soon international markets thanks to a breakthrough technology. And Eurostars, that is a European program that not for all European countries, just some of them that have committed together to support near to the market innovation in smaller consortia, so smaller teams. Well, Horizon Europe, I should have put this in red. It's 90 billion euro budget to finance research and innovation from the excellent science in Pillar 1 to really near to the market innovation in Pillar 3. And in the middle, you have Pillar 2 that concentrates actually the highest budget. And it's here to fund collaborative projects in the most strategic topics called clusters identified by the Commission to support the global societal and industrial challenges. So you have health, culture and creativity, civil security, digital industry and space, climate, energy and mobility, food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture and environment. Oops, sorry about that. So how does it work? You might maybe know already about that, but the Commission publishes work programs where you have all the topics that will be covered in and will potentially get funded for 2 years. So here currently end of 2021 is the end of the first work program, and you in all these topics and also here you already should be aware and have access to the call for proposals for 2022 where you could potentially apply. So if you don't know how to have access to this, you can drop me an email or just here a message and we can see how you can have access to that. Pillar 3, Innovative Europe, is about funding access, near to the market technologies, or at least technologies that have the potential to go to the market, because oh, why is it gone? Johan, do you still see my screen?
Yeah, we are still on the same screen, slide 11.
It's not on my screen, so I just see me, which is quite confusing. Okay, why? Here, okay, back, sorry. Here on the top, on the European Innovation Council, this is where you have very interesting funding opportunities in 3 steps. First one is about the name is Pathfinder, so it's about let's say breakthrough, still emerging industries at TRL, let's say at still quite experimental development, so TRL until maximum 4, but that have potential to go to the market. So here you have smaller research projects in smaller consortium with, on the one hand, what we call open call for proposals, every topic or expected here, and other topics that are called challenges, mainly challenges related to the European strategy that I have developed or explained earlier. It means Green Deal, digitalization, it can be also healthcare, of course, and even stronger since the COVID-19 crisis. Then you have transition. Transition is dedicated to the projects that were funded in the first step, in the Pathfinder step, and will structure their economic and business approach. Again, also toward, well, next step towards market access. And the last one is EIC accelerator. Well, transition all again are collaborative projects. And then you have the last step in the European Innovation Council, that is the accelerator, where one single company can apply and get mixed funding in grant and equity to bring successfully its product to the market. Here I think, Johan, we will share the slides, will we?
Indeed, we will share the slide and the video, so everybody could have access to all the support. So.
Okay, thank you, because I put you here, it's not about reading it, but I put you here a very good video proposed by the European Commission at the launch of Horizon Europe to help you understand the new program and how to prepare a successful proposition answering the expectation of the Commission. So the Commission in Horizon Europe has structured the program quite in a new way, where your propositions really need to show evidence that they have understood how the Commission has prepared Horizon Europe, how this proposal answers in a positive way the challenges, the key threat, which is called the KSO, the key strategic orientations defined by the European Parliament and the European Commission. So here it's very good explained, and I invite you to watch the replay when you have time. You have here the link to that. Here I have a specific focus on EIC Accelerator because it is very quite famous for startups and SMEs that are very R&D intensive. Because why? Because it is I would say one of the rare instruments where you can apply as a single organization. Well, you also have SmartEEs, lucky you, but in bigger amount, I would say EIC Accelerator is very interesting. Like the calls for in EIC, it's both open to all subjects, and there are also some call for proposals that are targeting some challenges. Again, the challenges mainly are Green Deal, healthcare, and digitalization. It can fund the grant, so it will give you mixed funding grant from ranging from €500,000 to €2.5 million for a 70% funding rate. And then on the top, you can add and requesting equity up to €15 million. So equity, where does it come from? The European Commission has created its own investment fund, thanks to the help of the European Investment Bank, EIB. And in practical, from the grant envelope, you can get funded for development and until TRL 8. And then if you have to present a project that also covers industrialization and commercialization activities, and here it will be taken from the equity envelope, and it can goes beyond TRL 8. But surely at the start of the project, you should convince and prove that your technology is already at TRL 6. Here it's, let's say, reserved for companies that show significant and breakthrough innovation, have, of course, a credible project. That is risky, but still measurable and credible. So you should demonstrate a high level of risk, but still feasible, of course. Yeah, and you should, of course, show that you have the intention and the capability to grow at international level. So at international means not only internal Europe, but also, of course, reaching to the huge American or Asian market, or yeah. Success rate, I'm sorry, it's quite to say that it's quite low. It's ranged at 3%, but I like to say that all successful projects have taken the chance, so have candidated. So if you don't, of course, you won't never succeed. And how does the proposal application works? It's 3 steps. First, you have a pre-screening. So actually, these 3 steps de-risk a bit the involvement, because if you fail at the first stage, it doesn't, let's say, take you or waste you a lot of time. So you have a pre-screening first that occurs online. I will send, and I can send the link to this pre-screening page. You can go and through it without really wanting to apply. It can also, like this, it can help you just a bit evaluate yourself if your project is enough mature or enough strong to candidate, so it's quite good. Then if you pass the pre-screening phase, then you will be invited to submit a full proposal. And if your full proposal is accepted, then you will be invited for interviews in front of investors, because one of the, let's say, evaluation criteria is your project bankable? So investors will be part of the jury. In theory, these are always 4 cutoff dates to candidate every year, and I give you here the dates for 2022. This year are the cutoff dates for the full applications. So for the second step, you can candidate for the pre-screening first phase at every time. You just need to consider a bit that pre-screening evaluation takes about 3 weeks. Then you need to foresee at least 1 or 2 months of preparation for the full application. So just as kind of indication, if you want to apply or if you wish, or if you're ready for April, for example, you can do your pre-screening phase and the first step application now, or at the latest, I would say in February. So if you are selected for a full application, you are quite safe and have time to candidate in April, for example. But I won't go into details maybe here, because you know the problem is cascade funding. I decided to put it here because we also think that is very interesting for SMEs and startups. Why? Because it's also, like for EIC Accelerator, very aligned. It can be very aligned with the roadmap, technological roadmap of a single SME. It supports you to mainly develop a technological brick or a demonstrator together with a research center or another SME in specific domains. There are a lot of cascade funding open calls in addition to SmartEEs, a lot in the digital domain. It was initially created to support the adoption of digital or technologies or Industry 4.0 processes and technologies into smaller actors and a larger number of actors like you and SMEs. So it's difficult to present it here very clearly, because there are a lot of different modalities and application rules, because every project, like the SmartEEs project, has its own rules. But more or less one can see that these are funding for more close to the market activities. This can be a bit of R&D, but a lot of development and demonstration activities. Funding can range from 50K to 200K euro per partner, and funding rate is actually here 70, but it can also be 100%. So it's attractive to our understanding, and easy. You are not in direct contact with the Commission. You exchange with the project partners. Sometimes, and quite often, the project partner is already in your network or regional partner, so this facilitates also the collaboration. difficulty is to find the information. Where are these all open calls? In that aspect, the European Commission hasn't done a great job. I shouldn't do that, but say that, but it's quite difficult to find them. But there is one single portal that lists all these opportunities when they are open, and more or less they are always open minimum 2 months. And you can access them every time here, but it's not that you get an alert when one is published. It's not that easy, well structured, and you can easily find the one that is corresponding to your topic and so on. So it needs a bit of time to get through this jungle, but again, you have a lot of support organizations that could help you. Maybe you can contact them. I forgot to mention EEN, European Enterprise Europe Network, that can also in your region support you. Last one is here in this focus is Eurostars. So Eurostars is a bit less known. Not all countries are member of Eurostars, and companies can pretend for funding. But it's interesting in our opinion because it combines the opportunity to collaborate, so to be funded in collaborative projects, but smaller ones, also more in line with maybe the strategy and roadmap of a smaller company. It's about funding innovation and development close to the market, because you have to convince that the technology or the product will go into market in the next 2 years after the end of the project. So we are here at between TRL 6 and 8 by the end of the project, and you can partner with at least 3 partners or 2 partners can also be possible from 2 different Eurostars countries. So I will put in the presentation that will be shared the link to the Eurostars website and all relevant links, of course. Here the projects are also a bit smaller. The grant, maximum grant will be 3 million euro. The funding rates are different depending on the countries, because how is Eurostars managed? It's actually European funding, but you get it through your national funding organization. And this is the national funding organization that defines the rules and the funding rate. And here, because I think I am also over time, I put some others where I think it can be of interest if you are not already aware of this. The European Defence Fund, it's all about R&D for military purposes. There are a lot of opportunities here for digital, electronics, and also health products. They are very European. Well, with the, let's say, creation of this new program, European Commission shows also a signal that they want to foster dual use applications. So they are really looking for products and technologies that have been funded by military, by defense, the European defense community, and could have an interest for the civil application. And on the other way around, the door here with the first program, with this first competitive program. In the past, there was funding for defense, but this was well dedicated to a certain club. It was not open to everybody. So here it's also a strong signal that companies from the civil market might also want to develop their activities in the defense sector in this sense, or open and welcome to candidate, well, to apply to the European Defence Fund. Then the live program, not sure that it can be relevant, but if your innovation relates or can have an application for preserving nature and biodiversity, supporting circular economy, and quality of life, can do something in climate change mitigation and adaptation, or for clean energy transition, you can have a look on the call for proposals. And the last one, I forgot the topics, are the new EU for Health program that was created this year in order really to recover, to help, let's say, Europe recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, and also, of course, develop new technology or new technological and also let's say policies also for a stronger health care in Europe. So you have below here the 4 pillars of this program. The first one, and objectives: improve and foster health in the European Union, protect people in the European Union from serious cross-border threats to health. So it's also about security, ensuring security in the healthcare domain. A lot of, let's say, pharma pillar to improve medicinal products, also medtech, medical devices, and all, let's say, medical or healthcare products relevant and related to the COVID-19 crisis. And the last one pillar is more a policy one on strengthening our health systems, national systems, into maybe one day a European one. Okay, last, just maybe recommendations for you if you want to maybe a bit strengthen or be more effective or address European funding, is really doing and getting also support to identify the right call for proposal. You see, some are really want to push innovation in SMEs, but some are also more dedicated to answering a very strong societal challenge. So you should, let's say, question yourself: do I want, of course, to grow, but take the opportunity of entering let's say a big consortium that will work on answering, let's say, or tackling energy efficiency, for example, or COVID-19 crisis? Or do I want really only, is it now the time to I don't know, support my my investment capabilities, and then going more into EIC accelerator? So it's about a time of, well, it's a matter of time, and it's a matter also of let's say engagement. Yeah, do I have now time to engage also in EU projects that might be time consuming? Then when you're, let's say, questioning yourself, think about the highlight and the visibility that and the opportunity that it can be for your innovation and your capability in collaborating, which is today crucial. The European politics really say, if we want to succeed, if we want to be resilient in Europe, if we want to be strong, strong towards our global competitors, we need to collaborate. It's, let's say, the essence of Europe is about collaborating at EU level to be more efficient. Then integrate. It's the real particularity of Horizon Europe and other major programs. It should answer a societal and environmental challenge and component. Yeah, it's just, if you want to get funded by the EU, you should definitely look at societal benefits and environmental benefits. And then, of course, as industrials, we invite you to stress out on your business case, your unique selling proposition, highlighting your use case, and storytelling. It's about really giving evidence that this project is not a one-shot. It is really aligned with your growth strategy, and it has, let's say, it will have a long impact on your business, on the society, or on the environment. So this is it, more or less. Europe, you should, well, we could talk 2 days, I think. It was a very snapshot. Again, do not hesitate to contact me if you want, if you have question. Maybe we have time. I don't know, I'm not the master here, Johan. If you don't, write me an email, or let's meet this afternoon.